Hello, I'm Jules Kirk. I'm the Therapeutic Service Manager. I head up the counselling emotional support service and the complementary therapy service. I'm coming to talk to you today about our poster. I'm one of the authors, and the other author is my colleague Sarah Cundall, who's the Deputy Therapeutic Service Manager. And our particular poster is about an initiative we came up for bereaved children, and it's a non-talking therapy. The background to this really is that we noticed a trend that was coming through our service of children that have been traumatically bereaved. And there was two sorts of things that we were noticing. That one was that they had this traumatic bereavement, needing to process it, but weren't quite in the place to be able to do the talking part of it. And the other thing that we noticed as well is that quite a lot of young people were feeling very isolated in their grief, in the sense of their peers around them, their friends and people that they hung out with hadn't experienced a bereavement, so they didn't really understand how they were feeling, and they felt that they wanted to be around other young people that had a similar experience. So Sarah and I thought about how we're going to do this. So we started doing a little bit of research around sort of like other therapies that out there that had already been proven to have some efficacy on for people, such as complementary therapy, art therapy, drumming, equine therapy. And from that, we kind of like, and our knowledge of grief and how somebody processes grief, we put together a 6-week programme for children. Before we rolled it out, we invited some children who'd already been through our service to talk through our ideas and see what they thought. And actually, it was them that came up with the idea of the name, which is the Militium Project. It took us a little while to get used to be able to say that, but actually what Militium stands for is, in Latin, it's resilience, which we thought was a fabulous idea for the project, because it's exactly what we need to develop with young people, is develop their resilience. Going back to sort of like the 6 weeks then, so we kind of said that the children that come on the course, so they're between 11 and 16, and we called it a non-talking therapy in the sense that there's no pressure for them to talk at all. They don't have to say who or how their person died. Of course, they can if they want to, whether it's with peers that they make and friendships that they make within the group, or with the other staff members that are on the project, or some actually did want to speak in the big group. So there's no pressure there. So they have that understanding that there is no pressure to talk. But we also felt it was really important that we acknowledge why we're here. So week 1 is how the journey begins. We called that acknowledgement. And what we did on week 1 is that we helped the children make a projector, and it's a wooden projector, and that they can decorate, and at the top of the projector they put in their either initials or a symbol or something, and they kind of like put little holes for that. So when they put their torch underneath it, it projects that image on the ceiling. And we have a blacked out gazebo, and with poetry and a little bit of music, the children lie down and project their images on the ceiling. And what we were saying is that actually that kind of symbolises that even though the people are no longer with them physically, they're still there all around them. And we wanted to acknowledge that that's the reason why they're here, because of that significant bereavement. Then week 2, we called that resources. And that was where we took them to stables that we've got partnership with a therapist that has got her own equine therapy business, and we partnered up with her. And on that week, we all go to her stables and we do some work with the horses. And through the horses, the children are able to recognise what resilience and resources they've got already, or what resilience and resources do they need to develop and build on. So then we go on to week 3, and that's all about remembering. And what we do on that one, it's all about sort of like remembering the past and the present. And we do that through art therapy. And they do quite a few activities. The first activity that we do is that they, as a group, they make a ginormous graffiti wall. And what we say on that is that no word is barred. They can put on it, or symbols, shapes, words, whatever it is that they want to express on that wall. And the only proviso is that they don't go over anybody else's writing or whatever they've done. And then afterwards, we look back at the wall and see actually what's reflecting back at us. What are they? Are there similar words? Is there quite a lot of similarities between them? And then have a conversation around that. The other activity that we do that night as well is that they make a past and present. It's the giant jigsaw pieces on card, and on the first one they create an image of a memory that they have of their loved one, and then the other jigsaw piece is that they create an image of something that's happened without the loved one. And then what we do when everybody's done that is that we put all the pieces together and make a big piece of artwork, and the children quite like to photograph those, and they can take those pieces of artwork home with them afterwards. And then the other activity is that we have a memory tree where they can write a little message that they can put on the memory tree. And that's, as the projects go on, those memories are just being added to all the time. And we also have a compost bin as well, just in case there's anything that they want to get rid of. And that generally is the week that actually it's quite emotive. That's often when those emotions are starting to rise, and it's a lot more of a quieter, sombre session that we've found as we've done that on that week. Week 4 is about releasing. So those emotions that they've created over on week 3, we're able to release those emotions, and we do that through drum therapy. And there's quite a lot of activities we do around sort of being able to release those emotions. We play with feelings through sound, etc. And then what they then do is that they make, depending on how big the group is, if it's a really big group, we split them up, but if it's a smaller group, they might do it all as one. And they create a piece of music about their journey, their individual journey, and then how those individual journeys, how they merge that all together to make it a group piece of music. And that's often where that's a lot, as you can imagine, that's a really high energy session. But then just to calm them down right at the end, we've got these fabulous instruments that we call wow tubes, which actually then just helps them calm them down after that release of energy, just so we can hand them back to the parents in a bit more of a calmer state. Then week 5 is around self-care. And what we do on that week is that we introduce them to trauma yoga, complementary therapy, and we help them make a self-care calming kit. So first of all, through the complementary therapy, we teach them some self-soothing techniques, and we introduce them to aromatherapy, get them to play around with the different smells to see what they feel that would help them, whether they feel that they need smells that might uplift them or smells that might need to calm them down. And then we help them make a little spray that they can have their own sensory spray then. Then we help them develop a calming kit, and we talk to them about what a calming kit is and how to use it. And it's often, we look at it at the 5 senses, and this is all around helping to ground and calm themselves down. So for some people, they might do that through touch, and they might need different types of touch. So some might need something soft, some others might need something hard, or something a little bit spiky, like those. You can get these spiky balls that you can hold on to give that sensation. Some might need it through smell, so we've developed that spray bottle for them. Others, it might be sound, so get them to look for a piece of music that they might be able to put on their playlist that they can use to either calm them down or again, uplift them if that's what's needed. Or it might be sight as well, so it might be an image that they might like to look at or imagine to be able to calm them down. So we get them to make it individually, so it's what will work for them. So they know themselves, they're experts on themselves. So what they feel that actually in that time when they're feeling at their worst, what will help them, and then we're giving them those tools that they can then go away and use those afterwards. And then we finish off the session by doing some trauma yoga. And there's a lot of evidence out there now about polyvagal theory, about being able to use breath work and the polyvagal nerve that we can help people, can calm people down out of those when they've been activated. So we talk to them a little bit about that so they understand the science behind it, and then give them some techniques, some breathing techniques, some movement techniques that they can use at those times of stress. Or no, not everybody needs to be calmed down. Sometimes people are feeling so low they actually need to be uplifted. So we give them a couple of different exercises and techniques that they can go away and then use. And then finally, the last week, as you can imagine, is called endings, and that's really wrapping it all up. So what we would have done right at the beginning is that we would have done a little bit of scaling with them, got them to ask a couple of questions and scored it and scaled it. And then on the last session, we pull those out again and get them to have a look at it to see if there's been any movement and talk about it. And the other things that they would have been doing along each week is that each week they do a memory journal. What we've done, we've taken photographs of them throughout the week. We give them some psychoeducation of all the leaflets of all the different activities that we've done, so they can refer back to those, and they'll be putting those in their memory journals. And then the other thing that they've done each week is that we've asked them, we have a load of different objects out, and different cards with words on, and each week at the end of it they've picked either an object or a word that's represented for them on that particular week. So then on the last session we gather all those objects and those words together, and then make a sculpt about their experience of what they've done over those 6 weeks. And then finally we invite the parents in, with all the photographs that we've done, we create a bit of a montage. With each week we give a little bit of music, and every time we do that it's a different piece of music for each group, depending on personalities and things that have come out in the group. We try and match it to music and show the parents what their young people have been doing over those 6 weeks as part of the endings. And then to wrap all of that up, we then have a support Saturday, and that's done normally a couple of weeks later, where we invite the young people back, and we invite them to come back with their families. And in our lovely grounds in Treetops, we do some bushcraft activity. We do a lot of, we normally find with those young people that they've created those relationships and those bonds, and coming back together. It's a very joyous occasion for them. They have a lot of fun doing the bushcraft activities, and they're able to bring their younger siblings along if they wanted to come. And the parents are there as well. So while their young people are off doing some bushcraft activities, we spend a bit of time with the parents. It's a chance for them to come together as parents and be able to sort of like do a little bit of peer support. But we also, again, give them a little bit of psychoeducation about what's normal and what to expect when a young person's been bereaved. So they're not. Hopefully, that will give them less worries and concerns when they understand that perhaps some of the behaviours that their young person's been displaying are actually what we would expect to see. And then we wrap that all up by cooking a nice big all-in stew over a campfire and toasting marshmallows, and it's a nice way to round it all up. So we've actually found this has been successful. We ran 6 6-week sessions, and the feedback that we've got consistently from these young people has been probably much better, far outweighed our expectations from that. And there's a couple of things that we've done additionally from the feedback that we got from the young people. One of the things that we consistently got back is that they actually wanted it to be a bit longer. So what we've done is we've incorporated 2 extra weeks. So rather than a 6-week programme now, it's an 8-week programme. And the additional 2 activities that we've brought in is that we do some outside therapy, where, again, incorporating our lovely grounds at Treetops. We do a session around the seasons and what do the seasons teach us about the life and death cycle. And we do a bit of artwork, outdoor artwork using nature, and getting them to understand the symbolism of sort of like the life-death cycle. And then the other activity that we've incorporated, an extra week, is that we do continuing bonds, and we do that through clay therapy, and we get them to create quite a few different activities, but the most significant one is that they create a container, whether it's a little box or a cup or whatever it is that they want to create, to be able to hold something of a memory or an object or a symbol to remind them of their bereaved person. So they've got that as a bit of a continuing bond. So that's the extra bit that we've incorporated. And it's been so successful that it's now part of our core offering. So it's something that as the young people come through our service, we're able to give them that opportunity. They can do the talking therapy, which is the traditional therapy that we offer here at Treetops, but they've also got the opportunity to attend the Militium project. And they can either do that either or alongside. We actually find that those that have done it alongside, it's actually really benefited their talking therapies through being able to work creatively and process their work in a creative manner, and actually learn about themselves in a different way. It actually enhances them when they're actually having that talking therapy.